is the difference between sleep and samadhi. There's a huge difference between sleep and samadhi. Almost the difference between night and day. They may seem similar simply in the way that both of them are peaceful. Our daily lives feel very stressful, very hectic. Chahe school ho, kaam ho, family life ho, whatever it is, it tends to feel very stressful. Our minds feel like they go 1,000,000 miles an hour. We have lists and more lists, things in our mind, more things in our mind. When we fall asleep, all of that goes. And so I can understand where the question comes from, that नींद में, in sleep, मेरे को इतनी शांति होती है कि लगता कि शायद यही समाधि है. It's so peaceful in my sleep that maybe this is the goal, this is the end goal of bliss. But in sleep, all that has happened is this world is off and a whole nother world is on. We are away from this world's activity, away from this world's problem, away from this world's relationships, away from this world's challenges and lists. But all we've done is gone from one world into a different world when we're dreaming. In the stage of non-dream sleep, that deep sleep, that is as close as we experience on a daily basis, the non-dream sleep, as close as we experience to what you could call samadhi. Except that happens not through an active awareness, an active experience. It's rather the absence of experience that makes it happen. So, my brain has shut off. I've laid down. I'm no longer aware. Now I'm in deep sleep. But the problem is I'm also not aware of my deep sleep. When we wake up in the morning, we might remember our dreams. We might have some sense that I was refreshed, but we have no memory of the experience of our deep sleep. We have not benefited in any way by the experience that we had. We haven't learned anything. We haven't changed. If I spend my life lying and cheating or being violent, रात को वो भी सोते हैं, rapists भी सोते हैं, dacoits भी सोते हैं, everybody sleeps. Every night they're entering this experience, and every morning they wake up and keep raping and keep killing. So that experience that they're having is not an experience that's permeating or affecting or impacting or changing the nature of who they are. In samadhi, yes, we are away from and free of the stress, away from, free of our attachments, our expectations in this world. And yet it's conscious. It's conscious, it's aware, it's mindful, it's positive. And that samadhi that we experience, even if we just experience a moment of it, Many of us, probably in meditation, have had the experience of a moment, maybe a few moments strung together. It changes us. Even if we can't hold on to it 24 hours a day, even if when we get back at work or back in the home or back with the family or back with traffic, we wonder what the samadhi ko kya hua? We seem to have lost it. But nonetheless, it actually has changed us. Something very, very deep within us has transformed. And then the next time we sit, we get there a little quicker. It lasts a little bit longer. The space between the experience gets a little shorter. And from that experience, how I live changes. Anyone who has ever had a real taste of samadhi, a real experience of samadhi, their lives change. Because suddenly we know that we're not actually separate from each other. We're not actually separate from our world, from our planet. Suddenly we know, oh, I'm not this body. And so even if we're not able to hold on to the samadhi yet, that awareness was conscious. That awareness is in my conscious mind, which means that it touches everything I do. And who I am changes. So samadhi becomes the relaxation, the rejuvenation, the stillness, the quiet, all of the good stuff of deep sleep. But it's deep sleep while awake. So you get all of those benefits in a way that actually changes you. In a way that when you're awake, you're still with the samadhi. You're still with that experience. Where samadhi ends and sleep begins. Okay. In samadhi, you mean? Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. So we spoke before about the difference between them. Now he's asking, how do you know where samadhi ends and sleep begins? Sometimes you sit down. It's happened probably to most of us. We've sat down to meditate, we've closed our eyes. Sometime later we open our eyes. How much of it were we meditating? Did we drift off somewhere? Sleep is wonderful. The body needs it. The brain needs it. Every cell of our being needs it. But it is very different from meditation. They are nowhere near the same thing. Sleep is a withdrawal from the self. Meditation is a withdrawal into the self. It's subtle, but it's a very important distinction. In sleep, I withdraw away from who I am. My life is very stressful. This happens, that happens, I have this desire, this fear, this complex. When I go to sleep, blessedly, I'm free of it all. Not because I've actually looked at it, changed it, but simply because I've been given a little vacation from it. That's all sleep is, a slight vacation from what I'm going through. In meditation, I have withdrawn into myself. So I'm also away from the things of this world, but I've gone deeply into my true self, which means that the source of both my suffering and my joy should become apparent to me. Very little becomes apparent in sleep, and that which becomes apparent might become apparent in a special dream that maybe we remember the next morning and there's a message from it. But in deep sleep, nothing becomes apparent. Deep sleep is darkness. A nice darkness, but darkness nonetheless. Samadhi is light. Samadhi shows us the self. And the way to know when you open your eyes and you're wondering, Ki acha, was I meditating or acha, was I sleeping? The way to know is to check in. Ki, in the last hour, am I any different than I was an hour ago? Do I just feel slightly physically refreshed that I got a little cat nap? Or have I actually been lightened up in some way? Has something been lit inside of me? Can I see a little more clearly? Am I a little more aware? You'll know. You'll absolutely know. Because Samadhi touches us.